Hey there, and welcome to today's Explainer. If you've ever looked at those massive software companies and wondered how on earth do they actually build those from the ground up, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to completely unpack the blueprint for building a software as a service or SaaS business from scratch. And to make all these highly technical concepts super easy to digest, we're going to lean into a construction blueprint metaphor. We're going to take you step by step, literally going from an empty lot of an idea all the way to a towering digital skyscraper. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll be moving through 5 distinct phases. Phase 1, what SaaS actually is. Phase 2, finding the right problem. Phase 3, the technical architecture. Phase 4 covers core features and billing. And Phase 5 wraps up with growth, metrics, and scaling.
All right, Phase 1, what is SaaS? Anyway, let's lay the groundwork.
So we can define a modern SaaS product using this really straightforward formula. It's software plus cloud infrastructure plus internet access plus recurring revenue. We've completely shifted away from the old days of buying software on a physical disk. I mean, think about it. Today, SaaS products handle almost everything, from accounting and HR to cutting-edge AI generation, and it is all delivered directly through your web browser. It's a total game changer.
Just to put this into perspective, in the past, you had to purchase, install, configure, and then manually upgrade your software. It was, quite frankly, a massive headache. But today, with SaaS, the provider manages the entire infrastructure for you behind the scenes. You literally just subscribe, log in, and get right to work, while they handle all the security, the backups, and those pesky automatic updates.
Moving right along to Phase 2, finding the problem. This is all about solving a real, actual pain point.
Now, before you even think about writing a single line of code, you absolutely must avoid the most common mistake founders make, and that is building a solution in search of a problem. Listen, if you say your target market is just businesses, you're essentially building for no one. You need to get highly specific. A target like, say, accounting firms in Southeast Asia that manage monthly bookkeeping for small to medium enterprises. Nailing that down makes it dramatically easier to spot their most expensive problems and build the exact product that solves them.
So think of your MVP, your minimum viable product, as your initial floor plan. You've got to resist the urge to build a sprawling mega mansion on day one. Instead of burning years trying to build a massive all-in-one HR platform with payroll and performance reviews, just focus on perfecting one single thing, something like employee leave management. Validate that people will actually pay for that one simple dashboard first before you start adding wings to the building.
All right, Phase 3, the technical architecture. It's time to pour the foundation and frame the walls.
Let's actually trace a single user request to see how this all connects. A user clicks a button on the visual front end, the storefront. That request travels through an API, which acts basically like a digital messenger, taking it to the back end. The back end processes the heavy business logic, like, calculating tax on an invoice. Then it securely stores or retrieves that info from the database, and the whole shebang is hosted on scalable cloud infrastructure.
To construct those layers, developers use specific raw materials. You might use something like React for a really snappy storefront interface, Node.js for your back-end internal wiring, and PostgreSQL as your robust, reliable vault to store all that data. From there, you just bolt on specialized tools, like Supabase for logging people in and Stripe for processing those credit card payments.
Now this brings us to the absolute core of SaaS development, a concept called secure multi-tenancy. It's exactly like an apartment building. Everyone shares the exact same overall structure, the same plumbing, the same roof, but every tenant only has the key to their specific unit. In your database, every single piece of data must be securely tagged to a specific organization. That ensures Company A never, ever accidentally sees Company B's highly sensitive financial data. Absolutely crucial.
Okay, Phase 4, core features and billing, setting up access, and, of course, the revenue. When it comes to securing your building, you really need to answer a critical two-part question regarding user access. What is the actual difference between authentication and authorization?
It breaks down like this. Authentication is basically the bouncer at the front door. It's asking, "Who are you?" and checking their password. Authorization, on the other hand, is what happens after they're already inside. It determines which specific rooms they are permitted to enter based on their role. So an owner might have the keys to the billing room, while a standard employee only has access to their own daily tasks. You must have these strict role-based access controls built in from day one. Now, to capture the value you've created, You have to align your pricing structure with how your customers actually use the product. If you get this wrong, it can completely stifle your growth. You might charge a flat monthly rent, say $49 a month. Or if you're running a heavy AI tool where your own costs scale up with their usage, you might charge per API call or per gigabyte. Honestly, a lot of modern platforms use a hybrid model, a base monthly fee plus usage fees if they go over certain limits.
Here is a golden rule to live by: the build versus buy principle. Basically, you shouldn't waste time rebuilding the city's electrical grid when you can just plug your building right into it. You should absolutely not waste your precious engineering time rebuilding payment infrastructure, or email delivery systems, or secure login flows. Just buy those services from established providers. Spend literally 100% of your time building the unique features that make your specific software valuable.
And finally, Phase 5, growth, metrics, and scaling. Keeping an eye on the structural health of your business.
Once you're live, you've got this alphabet soup of metrics you need to watch like a hawk. MRR and ARR track your recurring revenue. But just as importantly, you have to compare your CAC, what it actually costs you to acquire a new customer, against their lifetime value. And please, keep a ruthless eye on churn. Acquiring customers while rapidly losing existing ones is pretty much a founder's worst nightmare. It's literally like trying to fill up a leaky bucket.
Now, when it comes to scaling your servers to handle all those users, avoid the temptation to over-engineer on day one. A startup doesn't need enterprise-level microservices right out of the gate. Just start with a simple, logical, modular monolith, one application with cleanly separated parts. Honestly, wait until actual customer traffic actively forces you to add complex routing or multiple databases. Remember, complexity always carries a cost.
So how do you acquire those users in the first place? Well, you might leverage a product-led growth funnel, or PLG. In this model, you aren't relying entirely on a massive sales team. Instead, you let the software itself do the selling. A visitor signs up for free, they immediately experience that magical aha moment of your product's value, and then they naturally hit a friction point where they eagerly upgrade to become a paid customer. It turns your product into your best salesperson.
Ultimately, everything we've talked about in this blueprint boils down to this one essential truth. Your success isn't really about the coding framework you pick or the cloud servers you deploy. It is entirely about the expensive problem you are solving. So as you look at the market today, I'll leave you with this question. What is a problem out there that is so painful and so time-consuming that businesses are literally just waiting to hand you money to make it go away? Figure that out, and you're ready to start building.